Hello and welcome to Mrs. Law's class. In this lesson, we're going to take a look at the metric system. The metric system is a system of measurement based on multiples of 10, and the base unit for length is the meter. So since the 1960s, the International System of Units, which is abbreviated SI, and is taken from Système International de Unit in the French, hence we use SI, it has been the internationally recognized standard metric system. So metric units are widely used around the world, although you probably see in the United States they use the imperial system and often in Britain as well. So to convert from one unit to another in the metric system, we multiply or divide by powers of 10. And then we attach a different prefix to the base unit. So for example, for length we use meter, and for volume we could use liter. The standard set of prefixes used in the metric system and their meanings is found below in this chart. So in this chart, we can say that our basic unit is M for meters, but we can also say it was capital L for liters. So how this works is that, for example, kilometer or kilometer, we can see that the quantity is 1,000. So that means it takes 1,000 meters to make 1 kilometer. Okay, and the next one we have hecto. So hecto is 100, and that means that we need 100 meters to make 1 hectometer. And then we have deca. Deca means that we have 10 meters to make a decameter. And then we have the smaller units. So we have deci. Deci says that we have 0.1. So that means that 0.1, or if you want to think of in fractions, 1/10 of a meter is a decimeter. And then for centimeter, we have 1/100th of a meter is a centimeter. And then finally, 1/1000th of a meter is a millimeter. Now, there's a little rhyme that you can use to help you remember the order of these units. And that's King Henry danced merrily, drinking chocolate milk. So each letter in this little rhyme, K, H, D, M, D, C, M, represents the first letter in the corresponding unit in order from kilometer all the way down to millimeter. Now, the only area that might be left for confusion is then, how do you know if deca or decimeter comes first? Well, when I look at this, I can see that A comes first in the alphabet before I, so deca comes before deci. So if you learn this rhyme, this will help you to remember the order of the units. Now, I've also drawn a staircase to help you convert between the units. So kilometer is put at the top, millimeter is put at the bottom. So when we go down the staircase, you can think of it as we're increasing, and it's very quick and easy to go down the staircase. We times by 10. When we go up the staircase, it's a little bit harder work. So we are going to divide by 10. So if you use this staircase, you can then convert easily between the different units. And let's take a look at some examples so we can see how this is done. Now, before we do some examples, I've written a definition here called referent. So a referent is an object that helps us to approximate one unit of measurement. So it's helpful for you to visualize maybe what a millimeter is, or a centimeter, or a meter. So for example, a millimeter, you can think of a thickness of a paperclip. For a centimeter, you can think of the width of an adult baby finger. And then finally, for meters, it is the length of a pace, which is 2 steps, or you can think of it as the height of a standard doorknob from the floor. So those are called referents when you can think of an object to help you remember the length. Okay, so let's take a look at some examples. So in this first one, we have 38 kilometers, and we want to convert it to meters. So going back to my staircase, I can see that kilometers is at the top, meters is here in the middle, and I need to walk down 1, 2, 3 steps to get to meters from kilometers. So that means I need to times 10 3 times, or timesing 10 3 times, is the same as saying times 1,000. So going back to my example, I'm going to multiply 38 kilometers by 1,000, and then I will get 38,000 meters. All right, the next one here, we have 0.4 kilometers, and we now want to going all the way down to centimeters. So going back to here, so I'm going to erase this, and this time we want to go from kilometers all the way down to centimeters. So this is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps. So that means we need 5 tens, or we need a number 1 with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 zeros. So 0.4 times 100,000 is equal to 40,000 centimeters. Now, instead of scrolling back and forth, let's write that little rhyme here. So King Henry danced merrily, drinking chocolate milk. So we're going to use this to help us figure out the next conversions. So now we have 758 millimeters. So knowing that this is down the staircase going this way, okay, so I'm going to erase this. Because we're going to jump with arrows. We want to go from millimeters, which is here, millimeters, and we want to go to meters. So this time we are going to go 1, 2, 3. So we're going backwards this time. So this means that we're going to divide by a 1 with 3 zeros. So when we divide by 1,000, we're going to move the decimal place over to the left. The decimal is here at the back here. Oops. And we're going to go 1, 2, and 3. So we end up with 0.758 meters. Okay, next we have 0.52 kilometers, and we want to change to millimeters. So let's erase this stuff that I've written here. Erase the highlights. And we'll put this back in. So this is meter, and this was millimeter. So kilometers is here. We want to go to millimeters, which is way at the end. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we want to multiply 0.52 kilometers by 1 with 6 zeros. So a million. So when we do that, we get 520,000. Okay, the next one we have meters to millimeters. Okay, so I'm going to erase this again, just so that we can start fresh. And we have meters, and we're going to go to millimeters. So we're going down 1, 2, 3. So we're going to times this by 1,000 because that's 3 zeros, and then that will give us 8,500. All right, finally, the last one here, we're going to go from centimeters. Sorry, not centimeters. We're going to go from millimeters to centimeters. So let's erase what we have written here again. Fill this back in. And we're going to start at millimeters, which is the very end. And we want to go to centimeters right next to millimeters. So when we do that, we're going to go up the staircase. So that means we're going to divide by 10. And we divide by 10, we're going to move the decimal over to one space to the left. So we get 246 centimeters. And that's how you can convert between the units in the metric system.